name is Jojo and you're listening to the History with Jojo podcast, where we look into and discuss history. Today we're going to look into Poland was before and after both World War I and World War II, and looking into what Poland was before and after the interwar and Cold War period, and what was their involvement with those wars. Before World War I started, part of Poland was being controlled by Germany. In the article, Library of Congress, it states that, quote, the defeat of Germany on Austria-Hungary and the collapse of Imperial Russia ended the main barriers of Poland independence. End quote. This shows that, as an end result of World War I, the fall of Germany was a reason why Poland regained their independence. This is a map of Germany's territorial changes between 1914 and 1944. This shows us the changes of Germany then affects us today. Also, this is an image of Charles I, King of Hungary, inspecting Polish troops. This was created by an Austro-Hungarian official photographer. This shows us Poland's involvement in World War I. During the interwar period, Poland's Second Republic was born, which gave them more territory and power. The Treaty of Versailles benefited Poland by letting them regain their independence and letting them gain access to the sea. Also, during the interwar period, Poland was a free market-based economy, largely upon agriculture, but with a few important centers of manufacturing and mining. After the initiation of communist rule in the 1940s, the economy developed an increasingly industrial, store-run command economy based on the Soviet model. Some of Poland's figures that were there during the interwar period and before World War II was Józef Piłsudski, Ignacy Jan Paderewski, Ignacy Marszewski, and Edward Radziwiłł. In this image, it shows members of the Polish Army's 2nd Death Squadron during the 1918 to 1920 Polish-Soviet War. Also, in this image, it shows southeastern one, Lithuania, Vilnius included, was occupied by Poland during the interwar period. Poland was very unlucky when it came up to World War II, and got invaded because false claims that Poland was planning with its allies, Great Britain and France, to encircle and dismember Germany. Despite the constant threat, the Poles had quickly undertaken actions aimed at fighting the occupational forces. These were not random and uncoordinated actions, but instead were planned and run by the Polski Państwo Podziemne, or Polish underground state, with its capital still in Warsaw. In the weeks following the German attack on Poland, German SS, police, and military units shot thousands of Polish civilians, including members of the Polish nobility, clergy, and intelligentsia. In spring of 1940, the German occupation authorities launched AB Auction, a plan to systematically eliminate Poles considered to be members of the leadership class. The aim was to remove those Poles seen as most capable of organizing resistance to German rule and to terrorize Polish population into submission. 5 years later, on January 27, 1945, Soviet troops liberated Auschwitz, freeing about 7,000 prisoners. They also found 600 dead and freed other nearby camps. Over 230 Soviet soldiers died during the operation. In the book, Night, it says, quote, never shall I forget that night, the first night in camp, which has turned my life into one long night, 7 times cursed, 7 times sealed. Never shall I forget those moments which murdered my God and my soul and turned my dreams into dust. Never shall I forget these things, even if I am condemned to live as long as God himself. Never. End of quote. This shows the trauma the people of Poland had to endure when Germany invaded them. Now, for the Cold War. Poland was involved in the Warsaw Pact. The Warsaw Pact was formed in 1955 as a military alliance of Eastern Bloc communist countries, opposing NATO, which represented the Western Bloc. Both sides were ideologically opposed and began an arms race during the Cold War. Poland was also involved with the Iron Curtain, which was a political, military, and ideological barrier created by the Soviet Union after World War II to seal off itself and its dependent Eastern and Central European allies from the open contract with the West and other non-communist areas. The term Iron Curtain had been occasional and varied use as a metaphor since the 19th century. but it came to a prominence only after it was used by former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Then the situation changed once again after Russia managed to regain full control over Poland, which was the result of the end of the Cold War. In this image, it shows an emergency broadcast on Polish television at 6 a.m. on December 13th, 1981. The leader of Poland's Communist Party announced the imposition of martial law in Poland. Poland's role in modern-day nation-building is worth looking at. Whether its relatively frequent changes of government would lead ultimately to the emergence of a real and responsible left, center, and right, and whether the new constitution would provide a mechanism for a smoothly functioning democracy depended in no small degree on the growing sophistication and experience of the electorate. In a nationwide referendum in 2003, the Polish electorate approved EU membership for their country, which came into force in 2004, a testimony to its successful post-communist transition. Poland had an anti-corruption strategy until 2020 focused on raising awareness, improving monitoring, and enhancing cooperation between agencies. As of February 2024, no new strategy is in place. Poland has several anti-corruption institutions, but lacks a central body to oversee conflicts of interest. In the article, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, it says, quote, "For the Polish people, NATO's existence has always been a sign of hope, the hope of saving freedom and democracy in a Europe divided until 1984, the hope that the Iron Curtain would not last forever, the hope that as soon as Poland was able to determine its fate, it would take part in the creation of a better future for itself and for the whole of the European continent. The dreams of our fathers and grandfathers have now come true." End quote. This represents hope for the Polish people for freedom, democracy, and security. Since the beginning of the 21st century, Poland has recorded an impressive increase in its shares in global trade in goods. Between 2001 and 2023, Poland's share in global exports increased by 0.95 percentage points, which allowed it to reach 1.52% in 2023. In this image, this cooperation expands beyond mere imports to include the exchange of technology and expertise, policy, harmonization, and joint investments. Well, that's it for Poland. We dive into their past and looked at where they are at now. Poland is a very unique country and has so much more to uncover. But for now, this is Jojo, and you listen to the History with Jojo podcast. Tune in next time for more history. Thank you for listening. Bye.